The movie opens with a man walking out of a train station, carrying only a duffel bag and a pack of cigarettes. The man looks like a James Dean fan, wearing a leather jacket, ripped jeans, and combat boots. His name's Lee. He has recently been released from prison after 3 years, and is now on probation. Lee doesn't have anywhere to stay. Not knowing what to do with his life, he decides it would be a good idea to go to his ex's house and beg her to stay. His ex's name is Kate. She's completely different from Lee, with a successful career as an account manager and a good job at a marketing company. Kate lives alone in the Los Angeles suburbs, and she's happy with her life. That is, until Lee shows up again. He knocks on her door, praying that she'll be welcoming. When Kate opens the door, though, she closes it again as soon as her eyes fall upon Lee's face. It's been years since she last saw him, and she has no idea how to act. Her first reaction is to tell him to go away. Lee begs her to hear him out, saying that he isn't a bad person, and pleading to give him a chance. Kate keeps telling him to leave, and when he insists, she sprays pepper spray on his eyes. Kate feels a bit sorry as she hears him shrieking in pain. She knows Lee isn't a bad person, but she also doesn't want him staying at her house. The problem is that Lee told his parole officer that he would be staying with her, and there's no way for him to change it. Kate eventually allows him into her house and gives him some ice for his eyes. They start talking about their time apart, with Lee telling her about his prison experience. Lee wanted to be famous. When he was with Kate, he wanted to be a musician, but now he has changed it to acting. Kate makes fun of him, knowing he doesn't stick to one thing for too long. She also tells him that she has a good job now, though he's surprised by her career choice. She hates working with people, and now she has to interact with a lot of rich men. Kate bluntly tells Lee that he can stay only for a night, but he knows he can convince her to let him stay longer. He only needs to play his cards right. After he takes a shower, Kate gives him some of his old stuff. Lee is surprised to see she didn't throw everything out. Before she goes to bed, Lee asks if they can hang out for a bit, but Kate denies it. Lee feels his heart break a little at her dismissal. He still has feelings for her, and he's hurt that she seems to have forgotten about him. She didn't even visit him in prison. When he asks her why, Kate claims that he isn't good for her. If she didn't let him go, her life would have been very different. Lee can't sleep. He's not used to the normalcy of a house anymore. He tries tiring his body by practicing exercises and smoking, but it's pointless. With nothing else to do, he snoops around Kate's things and makes some food. Kate wakes up from the noise and goes to see what he's doing. He's shirtless, showing off his fit body, and Kate immediately regrets her choice. She knows how charming Lee can be when he wants to be. They talk about their relationship in the past, and as they reminisce about things, they get closer to each other. It doesn't take much for them to kiss and sleep together, something that Kate is going to regret later on. The next day, Kate wakes up with someone pounding on her door. It's her older sister, Sandra. Kate remembers that she agreed with Sandra to pack the furniture in the house. The house she's staying in belonged to their mother, who recently passed away, and they're selling it. Kate cringes when Sandra enters the house, already complaining about her pregnancy. Lee is nowhere to be seen. Sandra is angry at Kate for not being ready. Kate silently listens to her sister chewing her out, but things get worse when Lee comes back. Sandra and Kate's mother despise Lee. For them, Lee is a useless waste of space who disrupted Kate's brilliant future. Lee doesn't like her much either. When she sees him, Sandra is shocked that her sister didn't turn him away, as she should have. She doesn't care that Lee hears her talking badly about him. Deep down, Kate agrees, but she hates when her sister tries to meddle in her love life. Out of spite, she tells Sandra that Lee is staying with her until he can find somewhere else. Sandra warns her she will regret it. After she leaves, Kate makes Lee promise that he will find a place soon. The days go by, and Lee starts searching for a place to stay. Meanwhile, they continue to get intimate whenever they can. Lee keeps leaving little messages with fun facts about elephants for Kate, and she finds it cute. She tries to maintain their boundaries, like not sleeping together on the bed, but she slowly eases up. One day, as they are packing, Lee sees Kate's paintbrushes hidden away, and wonders why she stopped painting. Kate changes the subject, and her phone starts ringing. It's a man, and he wants to know why Kate is ghosting him. Apparently, the man is her boyfriend, and Kate hasn't spoken to him ever since Lee reappeared in her life. She tells him she can't talk at the moment and hangs up. She lies to Lee that it was her sister calling, and that she has to go to work. She happily adds that she made reservations for them at a Thai restaurant later on. Lee decides to take this opportunity to do something nice for her. Instead of going to a restaurant, he orders Thai food and makes a romantic setting for them. Kate is surprised when she sees the candles and the canvas for them to paint. They keep staring at each other and smiling during dinner. Kate admits to herself that she missed Lee. He might be a bit all over the place, but he's nice, fun, and handsome. Their relationship was complicated, but they were happy. After dinner, they sleep together again. Kate allows him to sleep with her in the bed for the first time. She wakes up in the middle of the night to see him gone. When she looks for him, she finds him sleeping on the floor. The following morning, Lee is cooking breakfast for them when Kate comes up with an idea. She wants to go hiking with him, but Lee doesn't want to go. Kate insists, and Lee gets angry at her. They argue for the first time, and Kate doesn't understand why he's so angry out of nowhere. They go to smoke outside, and have a heartfelt conversation. Kate finally admits to him why she didn't go to see him in prison. She went into rehab after he was locked up, all to prevent herself from going after him. She knew if she did, she would be dragged into his mess. Kate cries a lot as she confesses her weakness to him. Lee finally understands her point. Deep down, he knows he's bad for her, but he's too selfish to stay away. Later on, Kate receives a message from the man she was dating. He wants to meet her for dinner, but she doesn't reply. Lee approaches her and asks her to blow on his closed fist. Inside, there's a ring, and she puts it on. She sighs, and with a smile, she tells him that she loves him. Lee doesn't look comfortable with her confession, though, and doesn't say it back. Sandra is worried about her sister. As they are walking together, she tells Kate that she's falling into the same patterns as before. She isn't leaving her house, she's staying with Lee all the time, and she's not answering anyone who's worried about her. Kate promises her that Lee has changed, and that their relationship is good. They are communicating. Sandra is skeptical, especially because she notices her sister doing the same things as before. She worries that she's going to start drinking again and lose her sobriety. Sandra challenges her to bring Lee to dinner with her boss. If he doesn't complain or make a fool of himself during dinner, Sandra will believe her. Back at the house, Lee has bought a dog for them. Kate can't believe he did it without telling her, and yells at him for his irresponsibility. In the evening, she comes back and apologizes for getting angry at him. They go through some of her old things, and Lee finds a CD with songs he wrote for her. He plays it and they start dancing. Once again, Kate tells Lee she loves him, but he doesn't say it back. Instead, he tells her that they should continue their relationship. They could even stay in her mother's house. He wants to build a family with her, and Kate readily agrees. Her heart is full of Lee, he's all she can think about, and she doesn't concern herself with the reality of their situation. The next day, Sandra calls Kate to remind her of dinner with her boss. Kate forgot to tell Lee about it, and he isn't excited to go. Kate forces him to dress up, and they go to the dinner party. The only thing Kate forgot to mention to Lee and Sandra is that she knows her boss, Charlie. He's the man who keeps sending her messages and calling her. He's married, and Kate's his mistress. When he sees her with Lee, he's jealous, even though his wife is next to him. During dinner, while Kate drinks a lot of wine, Charlie keeps making backhanded compliments to Lee. Lee has no idea why the man is talking to him like that, and Kate keeps glaring at Charlie. Sandra soon realizes that Kate knows him, and she isn't happy. After dinner, she takes Kate to the bathroom and asks her about Charlie. Kate has been sleeping with him for months, ever since they met at Kate's Christmas party. Sandra is rightfully upset with her sister and her selfishness. Kate doesn't care about anyone but herself, and she likes blaming other people for her failings. Sandra was the one to help her out when Lee went to jail, and Kate hates her for it. She thinks Sandra looks down on her, and that she's the perfect daughter. Sandra only wants to help Kate, and not see her in a bad place anymore. Kate can't see that, especially not with Lee. Meanwhile, Lee is outside when Sandra's husband, John, approaches. Lee thinks John is a square man, who has never done anything wrong in his life. As they talk, he finds out John was also arrested when he was younger, and that Sandra helped him get his life on track again. He advises Lee that he can change, he only needs to try. His words leave Lee thoughtful. The truth is that he's afraid of his future. With parents that never cared about him, Lee never had the best role models. He wants to have a good life, to have a family, but he doesn't know if he's strong enough for that. When they go back home, he asks Kate if she was sleeping with Charlie. She lies and says she wasn't. The next day, Lee throws away the for sale sign at Kate's mother's house, without telling Kate or Sandra. He then goes to find a job as a waiter, but he doesn't even get there on his first day. He and Kate get drunk and end up oversleeping. The house is a mess of beer bottles and stale food, not to mention Kate is late for a meeting at her job. She wakes up in a rush and runs outside. Her car isn't there, so she needs to take a ride. Kate freaks out and throws her purse and shoes on the ground in anger. She can't believe she fell for Lee's charm again, and that she is hindering her job because of him. She promised herself she wouldn't do it again. After that, she realizes Sandra has been right all along. Getting back together with Lee was a bad idea. It's been years since Kate last got drunk, and her life was on the right path. She has a good job and her own apartment, and her sister is always there for her. She realizes that Lee is like an substance to her. He's addictive and seems like a good idea to have fun, but he can also destroy her life if she allows him. Knowing she doesn't have the strength to break up with him again, she goes to Sandra. Lee wakes up late in the afternoon, and there's a message from his boss saying that his missing work will have consequences. Sandra is also at the house packing, and Kate is nowhere to be seen. When Lee asks where Kate is, Sandra tells him that he knows. She reminds him of how she helped him be released early, if only he would stay away from her sister. Sandra knew that the moment Lee showed up, Kate would fall for him all over again. She just can't stop herself. She made Lee promise not to come back for Kate, and he lied to her. Sandra is tired of this. Lee is thoughtful after talking to her. He knows she's right, but he doesn't have anyone except Kate. He's afraid of ending up alone. When he goes back to the house, Kate's there, packing the rest of the things. Lee sees a carton of spoiled eggs in the fridge, and offers to throw them away. They start arguing about the eggs, though in truth, they are arguing about their relationship. Kate tells him that she will throw the eggs away when she gets tired of them, and that she wants them right where they are. Lee gets tired of her stubbornness and starts to leave the kitchen, so Kate throws the eggs at him in anger. She's bitter that he showed up in her life again. She's mad at herself for being weak when Lee's involved. Not only that, but he never even said that he loved her, so she is confused about his feelings. She doesn't know if she's just a convenience for him, or if he really likes her. Later on, they act as if nothing happened. They get ready to go to Charlie's house. He wants to apologize to the couple for his behavior during Sandra's dinner. When they arrive at the party, Lee apologizes for making Kate drink the night before. She brushes him off, saying that the issue is that she wanted to. There are a lot of people at the party, and they go around mingling. Lee isn't comfortable at the fancy party. He feels as if he doesn't belong. Charlie approaches them to apologize, but Lee notices he isn't being honest. The way Charlie seems to know Kate bothers him too. John approaches Lee later on, and Lee tells him that he's not sure if he can change. He thinks that deep down, he's always going to be a mess, and there's nothing he can do. His father was like that too. John thinks he's only making excuses. If he wanted to really change his life, he would find the strength to do so. After John leaves, Lee decides that he has had enough of the fancy party. He sees Charlie with a young girl sitting on his lap, and approaches him. He tells the man that he's not sorry about anything he said during dinner, and that the party was horrible. He punches him, and Kate quickly carries him away from the party. Sandra watches them going with sadness. On the ride back, Kate is quiet and upset. As soon as they arrive at the house, they start arguing. Kate thinks Lee is self-destructive, and always manages to make his life worse because of it. He doesn't think he deserves good things in life, and when he's happy, he does something to hinder it. He did it before, and he's still doing it after 3 years. Lee retorts that she keeps saying that he's not good enough for her, and he's tired of hearing it. He wants to be good, to be important to someone, to have a family. The issue is that Kate is too broken to help him out. He needs someone willing to hold his hand and take him on the right path. Kate also needs someone to do that for her. Sandra was the one to take care of her when Lee was arrested, but Lee has no one. After their argument, Kate feels bad, like always. She sits down next to him in the backyard, and talks about the first time they met. They met at a bar where Kate was a waitress. Lee came up one evening, and he kept paying to play a song on repeat. Kate got annoyed quickly with his behavior, and approached him to complain. Lee says he thought she was beautiful, even though her hair was frizzy, and she wasn't happy. That memory was the one that kept him going when he was in jail. He kept repeating it, reminiscing the best moment in his life. He says that he loves her, but that love isn't enough for them. They are like parasites, always feeding off of each other's pain and anger. They can't go on anymore. Kate goes to bed alone for the first time in a month. When she wakes up the next day, Lee isn't there anymore. He left her another elephant fact in the fridge, but it's not possible to see what he wrote. It makes Kate cry and smile. Their ending is bittersweet, knowing that they love each other, but can't be together.